first of all, I just want to get right down to it. What are going to be the priorities for Judge Corrigan coming in right now in these next couple of days?
Well, making sure that we're giving attention to referrals sent over by the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. As they're picking bad guys up and asking for warrants, we need to review those cases and making sure we're filing appropriate charges and asking for bonds that will keep dangerous offenders off the street. We stand ready to stand in the gap unless and until such time as the governor makes his appointment and make sure there's an orderly transition to whomever the governor appoints.
Do you think it will make any personnel changes right off the bat? Anybody going to be terminated right from the beginning?
We're going to move in and assist whatever apparatus remains of the circuit attorney's office and provide some kind of order and structure to that under Judge Corrigan's leadership. And we've got attorneys on the ground now ready to assist in that endeavor to ensure that public safety is respected and protected over the next 48 hours.
And so right now, as it stands, your conversations with the governor have consisted of the fact that he wants your office to oversee things for this week until he names an appointment expected on Friday.
That's right. The statute provides that the governor can appoint the attorney general to assist a prosecutor or circuit attorney. And that's what we're doing in this instance. We're moving in to assist that office to ensure public safety in the short term until such time as the governor makes an appointment to backfill based on the resignation of the circuit attorney.
What are some of the things that you want to add about all that's developed today? I mean, certainly when you woke up this morning, you didn't expect to be managing the circuit attorney's office by the end of the day.
Yeah, public safety has been a priority of mine since I took office on January 3rd. And certainly we were in office less than 60 days and we're ready to move forward with one of the most important pieces of litigation in this state in at least a generation. And that was to remove the circuit attorney who was unlawfully refusing to do her job. We know that in 96% of crimes reported in the city of St. Louis, she wouldn't file charges on those. So she was unlawfully refusing to do her job. And what we've exposed over the last 2 weeks is it's because she was doing something else. On the very day she was supposed to be at a show cause hearing for missing a trial of a violent offender, it's because she was at school taking nursing classes instead. And so it was important to hold her accountable and restore confidence in the criminal justice system. Today is a major win for the people of the city of St. Louis and this entire region to restore the rule of law and find justice for victims. And we're never going to stop fighting to achieve that objective. And we want whoever the governor appoints to be successful and have assets ready in place now to assist with that.
And so as far as how much staff and logistics goes into the next 48 hours here for you, do you have a sense of how many attorneys you're going to send in or what's this going to all look like?
Well, there are 5 attorneys on the ground now ready to assist, and certainly we intend to man the warrant lines 24/7. So as the police officers are catching violent offenders and need warrants, we'll stand ready to process that information and provide the police officers with the support they need and deserve to make our streets safe again.
What about the trials assigned to prosecutors who no longer work there?
Yeah, well, we certainly need to get a handle on the trial docket and look at all the cases that are set for jury trial in the coming days and weeks. And at the end of the day, make sure that there are appropriate staff members in place to handle those trials. You know, that's probably a longer term project that whoever the governor appoints to the office is going to need to make a priority. And we will be ready to assist them in that endeavor.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's say the governor makes an appointment Friday. Are you prepared to keep your staff in place until such time as that new interim no longer needs their assistance? I mean, do you continue on? How does that look?
Well, it's going to be up to whoever the governor appoints. And look, there are regional leaders across the state and certainly in the St. Louis area that have stepped up and offered expressed a willingness to support and offer resources. There are resources available at the state level at the Attorney General's office. So there are private attorneys as well who have said, hey, we will take cases. We will do whatever is necessary to ensure that the rule of law is restored, public safety is protected, and we're finding justice for victims. So there are ample resources available. And I think it's an all hand on deck approach. I mean, folks want to see whoever the governor appoints be successful. And certainly we will provide sufficient assets to make sure that happens.
What do you make of all this discussion that went on with Wesley Bell's office and the effort to have him take over, I guess, the office? What is your impression of all that?
Well, I think Prosecutor Bell stands with the other prosecutors who have assets that are they're willing to deploy in the fight against violent crime, and it's going to take a regional approach. So I'm glad that there are folks willing to step in and help. Certainly, we're going to stand in the gap until the governor makes his appointment, and then we'll ensure there's an orderly transition. And I'm glad to see that there are resources available regionally to assist with that.
How do you continue then in your quest to hold her accountable? If this Quo Warranto process is now moot, what can be done to address the fact that she was taking nursing classes when she was supposed to be serving as the circuit attorney?
Well, we're going to continue to look at that, and we're going to use every legal mechanism we have at our disposal to explain what happened here, what went wrong, and what needs to take place to prevent it from ever happening again. The status quo is not going to cut it any longer in St. Louis. We've got to restore public confidence in the criminal justice system. You know, our men and women in law enforcement work hard every day and put their lives on the line to keep our streets safe. And we need to take seriously the work that they do, support them. And the best way prosecutors can do that is by filing the cases they bring to them that have merit. And certainly that's exactly what we're gonna do as we stand in the gap.
Is the exclusion list gone?
The Attorney General's office has no exclusion list. We're going to partner with law enforcement to make sure we're charging the cases they bring to us. Prosecutorial discretion is not authority to nullify the law. The prosecutor doesn't get to run the police department. That's what the police chief is for. The prosecutorial discretion exists in order to determine if the police reports support a charge, what the charge should be, and ultimately what the disposition in the case should be. So we're going to partner with the men and women in law enforcement and bring respect and honor to the work that they do, respect and honor the work that they bring us by filing the cases appropriately and seeing that wrongdoers are held accountable.
Excellent. So as of right now, the exclusion list no longer exists.
The Attorney General's office has no exclusion list.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add that I might not have asked about that you think is important to note?
This is an important day in the history of St. Louis. A new dawn is breaking, a dawn where safer streets can lead to prosperous communities, and people can feel safe again because wrongdoers will be taken off the street and held accountable. And we're never going to stop fighting to protect the people of the state of Missouri.
All right. It doesn't seem like this is the end of your sort of mission to hold her accountable either, even though the Quo Warranto is likely going to end. It sounds like there's more to come.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're going to take a look at everything that's happened, all the evidence that we have, the evidence that may still exist out there, and look at all of it, analyze it in context, and determine what went wrong and what systems need to be put in place to prevent it from ever happening again. And that's going to take some time. I mean, we've got to take a hard look at this and understand what went wrong. But certainly there's ample evidence out there of her unlawful unwillingness to do her job. And so, and at the end of the day, it's her priority was elsewhere. She didn't want the job. She wanted to do something else instead. And it was on taxpayer time. And so there has to be a remedy for that.
One last thing too, I should add is there any message you have tonight for all of the crime victims that you have cited in your numerous motions and filings, and their stories? Is there anything you wish to say to those victims?
Yeah, my heart goes out to all the victims of crime in the city of St. Louis and across the region who have not been able to see justice because of the circuit attorney's unlawful refusal to do her job. And I promise you that while we're there over the next few days, we are going to do our best to respect what you've been through and to restore credibility to the criminal justice system. I'm confident in whoever the governor appoints will have that same objective and will be standing there ready to hold wrongdoers accountable and find justice for victims.